looking for a friend like Jesus. It's time to share, there's a world out there. Let's tell him that he loves us so. Let's tell him that he loves us so. Kids time, kids time, kids time.
Hi, boys and girls. I know a family who live in Montana, and it gets very, very cold during the winter there. You know what they do to keep warm, though? They burn logs in a little wood stove, and the heat from that wood stove keeps their entire house toasty warm. They do keep the fire burning all day and all night, though, during those cold winter months. This family has 2 small children, and as you can imagine, they don't want their little ones to get burned on that hot stove. So they had to teach their children at a very early age what hot means. Now, they would take their children's little fingers and hold them for just a second against a mug of hot water, just like this one, and they would just put their little fingers there and go, hot, hot. Their children learned so well what hot means that they were never tempted to touch the wood stove in the winter. You know, all the parents had to do was point to the wood stove and say, hot, and their little children knew to stay away. The Bible tells many stories of how God warned his people not to do certain things, but many times they went ahead and they did them anyway. And sometimes they weren't even very good learners. God wanted them to learn not to do those things anymore. So he allowed them to feel the heat of their bad choices. You know, sometimes that meant their enemies fought long wars with them. And sometimes it meant that they were taken captive by other nations and put to work as slaves. Of course, then they would cry to the Lord for help. And you know what? God would deliver them. What a good and precious and patient God we serve. One time, an angel appeared to a couple who had no children, and he told them that they would be the parents of the man God would use to deliver his people from their enemies. Oh, they were so excited. The angel even told them how to raise their promised baby boy, and they determined to do exactly as they were told. Today, we're going to hear from the father who was visited by the angel. Oh, and by the way, I think you know the name of his famous son. Ever heard of Samson? We'll meet his father today, but first, let's meet up with Emily in the garden and see what she has for us today.
Hey, boys and girls, welcome back to the gardens. Well, I'm just here with my garden helper, Abby, and we're working in my herb garden. But do you hear all that noise, Abby? Do you hear all that noise? It's really noisy down here. Do you know why it's noisy? It's because my garden's in the middle of a big city. So you're going to hear all sorts of noise, like all of the trucks driving by and the cars. And if you listen really closely, you might even hear some birds chirping, and maybe even Rodney the rooster might make an appearance. Well, today what we're going to talk about are plant names. And did you know a lot of the plant names, you can almost guess them whenever you just look at the plant. Like, for example, this first plant that I'm going to talk about, I'm even going to take off my garden gloves and put them down because this plant is so soft. Do you see all of this plant, boys and girls, in front of me? See all the really beautiful silver foliage? Abby, can you touch one of these leaves? Oh, it's really soft. Isn't it soft, Abby? Oh, it's really soft. It's so soft that oh, it feels so good even on your cheek. Do you know what this looks like? Well, or do you know what the name of it is? This is called a lamb's ear. Isn't that silly? A lamb's ear, because it's so soft. You can almost see the hair on it. Well, boys and girls, another really neat plant is this plant. Now look at the shape of this leaf. Look at that shape, Abby. Isn't it pretty? And do you know what it's called? Any guesses? Well, I'm going to give you a clue. Okay, Abby? I'm going to put it up to my ear. Something to do with ears. And imagine if I had a long trunk. Right? Give up? Any guesses yet? Well, this plant is called an elephant ear. Does it look like an elephant's ear, do you think? Yeah. Next time you go to the circus, be sure to look at your elephant and be like, well, I know a plant that's named after your ear, Mr. Elephant. Now the next plant is one of my favorites, boys and girls, and it's this plant right here. See all the beautiful colors in this plant? Look at this beautiful flower that God's created for us. Isn't it just beautiful? This plant is really, really special. Have you seen this plant before? Do you know what's really, really neat about this plant is that if you take your 2 pointer fingers and you just press right against the flower bloom, you can actually make it talk. Hello, Abby. Isn't that really fun, you guys? This is one of my favorite plants. Can you do it, Abby? You just put your finger here and you make the snapdragon talk. Isn't that fun? Yeah, it's really fun. The next plant I want to show you, boys and girls, is a really tiny little plant. Look how small it is. And look at all of these. They almost look like peas. How many of you like to eat peas? Oh, I didn't like to when I was a little kid, but I love them now. But this plant is called string of pearls. And if you look at it, it really looks like it's a string of pearls, doesn't it? Okay, boys and girls, the last flower we're going to go over today is this beautiful purple flower. Abby, can you hold this for me? Now, this flower is really, really special because, first of all, I love purple. It is my favorite color. But second of all, if you look really close, do you see all those sticking up? Well, they almost look like little teeny tiny pins sticking in the center of this flower. And you know what? The name of this flower is the pincushion flower because it looks like there's a bunch of pins sticking in a cushion. Isn't that pretty? Aren't these flowers just very, very pretty? Now, boys and girls, I hope now that you've learned some of the really neat common names that plants come with, such as lamb's ear and the pincushion flower. I encourage you every day to sow the seed of God's love.
I like to do special things for my mom and dad, like picking flowers for my mom and helping my dad in the yard. But I'm also learning that it's fun to do nice things for others, like telling them about my friend Jesus. This song, More About Jesus, was written by Eliza Hewitt. She loved kids and she loved writing poems and music for them. I think that was a great way to share more about Jesus.
That's right, Hannah, and we're so glad that here at Kids Time, we get to tell the world more about Jesus.
Love tacos, so I decided to give tacos a new twist. Today we're making taco pizza. Let me read the ingredients for you. 1 16-ounce box of corn muffin mix, 1/2 cup of soy milk, 3 cups of vegetarian burger, 2 cups of mild chunky salsa, 4 cups of refried beans, 1 8-ounce container of better than sour cream, 2 cups of shredded lettuce, 2 cups of chopped tomatoes, guacamole or avocados, 1 cup sliced black olives. Now to start a recipe, I've already made my favorite cornbread mix. You can just use whatever kind you like. Remember when you're making it to cut down on the liquid in it because you want it to be a denser cornbread. Also, you want to bake your cornbread at 400 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes or until it looks about done on the top, and you're going to put it in a baking sheet, a pan, and it's going to be kind of flat. Now to start out, you're going to start with your refried beans. I'm going to spread those over the top. Now, my mom loves to have parties at our house, all different kind of theme parties. And whenever she does, she's done a Mexican party before, and she likes to make little individual ones. And you can make these in little circle pans. And then you can put all the different things you can put on it out on the line, and then everyone can make their own. So it's like a little personal pan taco pizza. Everyone seems to really like it a lot. Let's get this spread out. And there's many different things you can put on this too. You can put, if you don't have fresh avocados, I chose to use fresh avocados today. If you don't have fresh avocados, you can make it with guacamole. And I like guacamole too, but I didn't have that today. We just have fresh avocados. Spread those refried beans out. Now we're going to put our burger on. And my family's favorite is Ives burger, but you can use any kind of burger you want. Just sprinkle that over the top. And if you don't like vegetarian burger, then you don't have to use that at all. It's just kind of whatever you like to use on this pizza. The pizza doesn't have to be really it can be really anything. It doesn't have to be exactly what I've done here. It can be whatever you want. And you don't have to use all this either. Just however much you like. Now we're going to put on our salsa of here. And just kind of, you're not going to be able to spread it, so you just kind of want to dribble it over the top. If you try to spread it, you're going to move around all the ingredients. Just like that. And now we're going to put on our lettuce. Now, I love lettuce, so I like to put lots of lettuce on mine. Lettuce is my favorite part. You can put however much you like. Now, if I know that my dad loves jalapeno peppers, and I don't have them today, but if it were him, I know that he'd want it in the cornbread. So you can put jalapenos or corn or something inside the cornbread too if you want that. But I know that my dad would like me to put it on in the cornbread and on the top. Now we're going to put on a little bit of soy sour cream, and this is better than sour cream. Soy sour cream. Now we're going to put on some tomatoes. Just a few tomatoes. And some avocado. Just a little bit of avocado. And some olives. Oh. It's nice and colorful, pretty, and it tastes good. Simple to make and delicious. You know, it's got a Mexican meal in itself, and you are gonna love it, so you should try it. Well, remember, until next time, to keep cooking and eat healthy.
Hey, little girls. How are you today? Good to see you.
Hi. How are you doing?
Yay. There you are. Well, how's the basket business today?
Well, it's pretty good.
Okay, she's
But
buying a big one here.
I don't think we want to buy this one.
Oh my!
Yeah, it's
this
too
one is a nice.
expensive.
Well, it's got some extra merchandise there.
That's a nice break there.
Manoah! Fresh bread today? Manoah! Hey!
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Manoah, I
Yes.
have something to ask you.
Yes.
How can we as Israelites deal with this problem with the Philistines?
Well, let me tell you something. God, we're not going to deal with it. God's going to deal with it.
Yeah?
That's what's going to take place.
Okay.
I've got some.
Tell me how he's going to do it.
I've got some news to tell you. So I've been wanting to tell somebody, and now's the time.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
This is amazing. God is sending us a deliverer.
From where?
Well, this is amazing. Let me tell you what happened.
What happened?
Well, the other morning I woke up, and my wife comes running to me, and she says, "Husband," she says, "I had a dream last night, a vision." Who has dreams and visions?
Yeah.
Well, my wife did. She had a vision, and she said, a man of God came to me, and he told me that I wasn't able to have children, but that was all going to change, that I was going to have a child.
This was in the vision.
This was in the vision, and he said he is going to be the next deliverer of Israel.
Wow.
But then-
We've been looking for a deliverer.
But that's not all. He said, the man said to her, now listen, you must feed him the right kind of food.
Yeah?
It's got to be a good health message. Here, you've got to have good food, you can't have alcohol, and you can't strong drink of any kind, and not even any grapes or raisins.
Grapes or raisins?
And they were not to cut his hair because he was to be a Nazarite.
Wow.
Completely and totally dedicated to God, and that goes for the woman too.
This was going to be your son?
It's my wife.
Yeah.
So I thought, this is amazing. I said, we've got to talk to the man. So I went and I prayed. And I said, oh God, let me talk to the man that came, the angel or whoever it was that came.
Yeah.
And you know what? God heard my prayer.
He did? And
Yeah.
he talked to you too?
Well, the next day, he appeared again to my wife. She was out in the field working.
Yeah.
And he appeared to her. And she said, wait, I'll go get my husband. So she ran and got me.
Yeah?
And sure enough, he was still there.
Wow.
And I bowed down and I said, please, what is this that's going to happen? And so he went and told me, he says, whatever I told your wife is the way it's going to be.
Wow.
Well, how should we care for the child? Well, I told your wife how it should be done, but he repeated it all to me, told me how he was supposed to eat and how he was supposed to live and all of this. It was amazing. And then I said, oh, let me, can I get you something to eat? He says, well, I won't eat anything, but you can get something. So I ran and got a goat. We slaughtered it and prepared it. And he says, put it on that rock over there. And so I put it on the rock, and he reached out, and a flame of fire came and
Wow.
and burned it up.
This was certainly a man of
Oh,
God.
it was, and then you know what happened? He went right up into that flame, out of sight.
Wow, what an experience, Manoah.
Do you believe me?
Oh, I believe you.
Well, that happened. It happened. And so I said, oh my, we've seen this. This must be God.
What are you gonna name this boy?
Well, wait a minute, I'm not through yet.
Okay.
I said, this must be God. We're going to die. We've seen God.
Yeah.
You know what my wife said? She said, why, Manoah, she wouldn't have said that if we were going to die, telling us how to raise a child, what to feed him. And I said, well, you're right. So that's the story.
Wow, I tell you, that's
God
an
is sending us to
amazing
deliver.
story.
And I don't know how, but that's the story. But don't be careful who you tell this to.
He didn't tell you how he was going to deliver him, but he was going to be the deliverer.
He was going to be the deliverer.
Wow.
Well, now, you know, my wife doesn't want me to get too far away from her in these days, so I've got to go.
Yeah, you need to
Good
go
to
home
see
to
you,
take
Mother.
care of her.
God bless.
Bless you. What a responsibility.
A joyful heart is good medicine, good medicine. A joyful heart is good medicine. A joyful heart is good, but a broken
boys and girls. It's time for Miss Brenda's Book of the Day. And my choice for you today is an exciting book by Jerry D. Thomas. It is Shoebox Kids Bible Stories, Book 5. And let me tell you, this is an exciting book. You're going to hear all about the Shoebox Kids. They meet at church, and they find that their Bible stories have a strange way of fitting into things that happen to them every day. Each week brings a new adventure in learning what the Bible means in real life. The Bible stories in this book start with King Saul using a witch to talk with Samuel's ghost, include Elijah's fiery chariot ride to heaven, and they end with Elisha and the runaway army. The Shoebox Kids stories that go along with those from the Bible start with Chris's trouble with dangerous cartoons, a hamster named Herman on the loose, and Dee Dee's stand for right on the swings. Questions at the end of each chapter make sharing Bible lessons interesting and fun. You're going to love this book, boys and girls. Shoebox Kids Bible Stories, Book 5. Okay? Well, right now, I have a letter in my hand, and I just was really impressed with this letter from Reuben. And you know what? We just have him on the phone, so we can all talk to him. Hi, Reuben.
Hi.
Where are you from, Reuben?
From Indiana.
From Indiana. And what part of Indiana?
Logansport.
Logansport. And how old are you?
10.
You're 10 years old. Well, can you tell me, I loved your letter. Can you tell the boys and girls what you do to share Jesus?
Well, I love Jesus a lot, and I love watching Kids Time.
Oh, well, I'm glad you love watching Kids Time. Have you ever had any really neat experiences where you share Jesus?
No.
No, but have you talked to people about Jesus?
Yeah, sometimes I'll go with my dad somewhere and talk about Jesus.
You will? And so, you know, it's important to witness for Jesus every day, isn't it?
Yeah.
What ways have you shared Jesus?
By telling my brothers not to fight.
Well, that's good. It's not good to fight, is it?
No.
And what do they say when you tell them not to fight?
I tell them to quit, and sometimes they say, no, because sometimes he hits me, that's why.
Oh, and that's not good. It doesn't make Jesus happy when we fight, does it?
No.
No, it doesn't. Well, I want to just encourage you to, I see a guitar in your hand. Do you play the guitar?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, sometime maybe you can come on Kids Time and play.
Huh?
Sometime would you like to come on Kids Time and play?
Well, I don't really know a lot, but I'm trying to learn already.
Well, I'll tell you what, you keep practicing, and then one of these times you get good enough, you're just going to send me a tape, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was nice to talk to you, Reuben.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was a nice call from Reuben, isn't it? I love talking to you, boys and girls. Maybe sometime if you would like to talk with me on Kids Time, can you, when you write to me, send me your phone number, and I might be calling you. All right, let's see. I have a letter here from Jamaica. Let's see what this letter says. I love getting every one of your letters. They really have been a blessing to me, and I hope they are to you. This one's from a really beautiful little girl in a bright, pretty blue dress. And the letter says, Dear Miss Brenda, my name is Monique, and I'm 10 years old. I would like to learn more about God and His angels. Could you please send me one of your activity books? And also, I want to tell you about one day I went to Old Harbor, and I saw a very old lady there. She was asking for money, and I felt very sorry for her. I took the last money out of my pocket and gave it to her. Do you think I got a blessing from it? Do you think I shared Jesus? If you don't mind, could you please sign me up for your kids club, and maybe someday I could come to Kids Time. Yours truly, Monique. Yes, Monique, I did think you shared Jesus, and I want to encourage you to keep sharing Jesus, okay? Well, right now, I have another letter here, and it's from Adrian, and you know what? I have Adrian on the telephone. Let's talk to him. Hi, Adrian.
Hi, Miss Brenda.
Oh, it's so good to talk to you. Can you tell me, Adrian, how old are you?
10.
You're 10 years old, and where do you live?
Midland, Texas.
Midland, Texas. Well, you know, Miss Brenda used to live in Texas. I used to live in Dallas, Texas. Do you know where that is?
Yes.
Yes. Well, let me ask you, do you love Jesus, and what do you do to share Jesus?
Well, I help my neighbors.
I could hardly hear you. Can you say that again?
I help my neighbors.
You help your neighbors. How do you do that?
I clean their yard.
You clean their yard? Do you have to rake leaves and things like that?
Yes.
And pick up shrubs and brush sticks or whatever?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. What do they say when you help them?
It's so nice of me.
Oh, what's your favorite part on Kids Time?
sharing time.
Sharing time, and you get to be on it, so I'm glad that we could talk to you today. Thank you so much, Adrian. I want you to encourage you to keep sharing Jesus, will you?
Yes.
That's right. Do you love Jesus?
Yes.
Yes, I do too. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, Adrian. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, wasn't that nice to be able to talk to Adrian? You know, boys and girls, if you'd like to talk to me, I want to encourage you, when you write to me, to send your phone number, and I might call you one of these times when I'm reading your letters. Wouldn't that be fun? Well, I have no more time for any more letters today because we're all out of time, but I want to encourage you to witness wherever you go. I want you to tell someone today that Jesus loves them. Can you do that for me? Remember, boys and girls, wherever you go, whatever you do, it is kids' time to share Jesus. Hi, kids. Look what's new. These bright yellow Kids Time t-shirts.